Hey guys, and welcome back to another video, another team preview, another day closer to, well, at this point I'm projecting that fantasy will be open, as this will be released on, I believe, the 17th. And if it's not open today, it should be open tomorrow, as I believe this will be the year to year that fantasy opened, or at least that I dropped a video on my fantasy team. The first team reveal this today or tomorrow from 1 year ago. So yeah, it should be open by now. So you'll be able to see if I got all the prices right, or if my prices are slightly off, etc. But you'll be able to probably track it a lot better or more efficiently. But anyway, it is the Carlton Blues today, and we'll get stuck into them. I think they are going to be the most one of the more fantasy relevant sides, given no early buy, and they have some good juicy guys, as well as just having more competent guys, I guess, just a good side in general. So you're going to have guys that are probably fair value, so their primo guys should be able to live up to their standard, etc. But anyway, let's just jump into it. So here you go. You'll see this, that I'll do this every single time. Hopefully I sometimes do fall out of track with it, as well as let's just quickly go to the fixturing, switch this over to Carlton, get rid of Brisbane. So they have obviously opening round bye. They don't play there. They don't have the early bye, which is really, really good, as in the buys in rounds 2 to 5 or whatever, etc. And they have round 12. Round 12, a little bit annoying, but could they be the team that you like on the round 12 bye? Maybe, maybe not. So a little bit annoying that they have the round 12 bye, but after round 12, round 13, 14, 15, you are going to be picking them up. I know it's 5 rounds as well, so it's a lot easier to buy plan, as in you don't need to be shifting as many guys around, given that we've got 5 rounds of buys, rounds 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. But yeah, I'm really, really confident in the Carlton guys that they'll be able to stand up. But the first guy on the list is Nic Newman, who is a guy that I'm genuinely excited about. Priced at 102.6, 1.051 million. And a guy that's taken the next step in his game over the last sort of 18, 24 months. In 2022, averaged 77. In 2023, he averaged 98. And then in 24, he averaged 102.1 after a 102.6 regular season. And you can just see the kicks and the handballs both basically, the handballs actually stayed stagnant, but the kicks rose by 4, the marks went up, tackles even went up, and the kick-ins went up. And that's just the thing. He finished the regular season averaging 126.4 through the final 5 games in the regular season due to favourable matchups. And he's probably one of the full-price primo defenders that I'm actually happy with, that I think can carry their price. Because basically, is he going to hold 102 comparative to like a Lockie Whitfield going +5 on his like 116 or 111 or whatever it is? And I just think he is. So I just think, yeah, he's a guy that can easily turn it out. And we see here in the regular season, like I was saying, 133 through the last 4 and 126 through the last 5. You start to get some data, and even include the last 6 games, include the finals game, he's out to 120.7. I think he's a guy, and he's starting to get that sort of overload on the kick-ins, I think, as well. Taking, 14, 18, 22, 27, 29 kick-ins in 6 games. That's almost 5 per game. If he does 5 per game, that's another 40 or so kicks that he'll get, give or take. And that's another probably 6 points of value. So I think he's a guy that can easily hold at 102. I think he can hold at 102. And at least, which if he holds at 102, that's massive value, given that if you look at the defenders, and I'll just show you here quickly. Sheasel can hold at 112. Whitfield has an early buy, has to go 116. Zorko, early buy, has to go 115. Flanders, early buy, has to go 112. Nick Martin, early buy, has to go 112. Nick Martin, Luke Ryan is valuable. I think, do they have early? They may have early. Let me just show you. Do they have? No, they do not. So Luke Ryan, sorry, I keep missing my words. Luke Ryan, valuable. Jack Sinclair, valuable. Next thing, Wayne Malera we'll talk about. Jordan Clark. Holmes has the early game. Houston has the early round bye as well. Bailey-Dale, I think Western Bulldogs don't, so that's good for them. And then you're starting to drop away quickly to guys in their 80s. So that's why Nic Newman, as I said, Harry Sheasel, Nic Newman, Luke Ryan, Jack Sinclair. That's 4 guys that I am confident will score in the 100 range. Right there. That's it. Then you have Jordan Clark, and that's it for guys in basically the 90s as well. So already you're clearing out stock, and Nic Newman's just sitting there with like 2 other guys. So maybe you don't go Nic Newman, but like you can see what my theory is alongside Nic Newman. That's basically all that needs to be said about him. Then we will go down. Nick Ames doesn't matter. Saad doesn't matter. Not going to be valuable. Mitch McGovern not going to be valuable. Brody Kemp, no. Weeder and Key. Zach Williams probably playing as a small forward at this point. Jordan Boyd, no. I just think he's locked down. Lockie Cowan, just don't know if he makes the side. Well, he's 16 games, so he's going to make the side, but I don't think he makes that jump. Lewis Young, no. Shinkotter's playing as a more tagging role, no. Billy Wilson could. We've looked at him, but I don't think he's going to be valuable. Harry O'Farrell, Key, Matt Duffy, I think they're Irish guys, so I don't think I don't know what he'll necessarily play or whatever. I don't think he gets games. Harry Charlson, this guy's interesting, and I think Coates League. So let's actually go to the Coates League here. We can get rid of this, and we go 2024 is the one that I want, and go Lachlan Charlson. Is he on here? Where is he? Harry is the one that we're looking for. Harry Charlson in the Coates League. I don't know whether I've got this right per se. Let me just check. This might be slightly wrong. Given that he's got 16 games, I see. That's slightly off there. Let me just rearrange these as they are slightly off, and they gave me very, very different numbers to what I thought they were. 11.4, 11.4, 10, and then 3.1, 2.3, that's right. And then in 2023, he played as well as I had him down for like 100, not 70. So slightly different, and makes him a little bit less fancy relevant. That is 55.5, but he could, with a couple of injuries, come in and not do necessarily too much, but priced at 230, which is basement price. He could do average 50, give or take, and 50 is still plus what, probably 25, 30 on the basement price, which is 230 divided that by 10,025, which is like, I think around about the 22, 21 marker. I think we said in the Brisbane one. So he could do. He's not going to be as amazing as what I thought he was doing, like as Zach Johnson was doing in the Coates League, off that halfback and Travalia and stuff like that, which we'll get to later in other videos. But he's a guy, I think, serviceable off halfback that they could use. But yeah, job security probably takes 2 or 3 guys to get that job, position, I would say. Then we get to the midfield, if I'm right in saying. Yeah, all those guys, doesn't matter. Sam Walsh, 106.1, 1.087 million, no early buy. What are we doing? I say no. Simply put, I want him in my side, but then again, I'm like, but I can't have him in my side because he's injured and everything, and he's just gonna find a way to get himself injured. I think he's already got his back injury management or whatever. Average 109 previously. I just don't know. It's hard to pick him, to be honest with you, and struggled to just get on field playing. Yeah, as you see here. 22, 20, 18, 20, including a couple finals games in there, sprinkled in there as well. So I just find it hard to start him. Given that, even though he could be +5, +10 back to his best, simply put, 105.3, he could get back to 109, which is a +3.7. But he also doesn't have the early buy as well, which makes him more enticing. But the injury history, as well as how does he react to how does his role react to Jagga Smith's arrival? Simply put, that is the big question marks around Sam Walsh, and why I'm probably going to give him a miss. Next up is the man of last season in Paddy Cripps. If we look at him, 100 average on the dot. He just doesn't seem to be fancy relevant every year. He could have the best year in the comp as per... What was I doing there? He could have the best year in the comp as per like the Brownlow votes, but he averages like 99, averages 102 in 22, averaged 109 in 2018. Is he fantasy relevant? I'd say no. I just don't see him doing as much, and it's just hard to see him really doing stuff as much as what he did last year. Like last year was an amazing year for him, but I just don't see him averaging as much as the team gets deeper. And yeah, as I say in the notes here, very up and down in fantasy. Hard to actually go for him after a Brownlow year, as they seem to have a down year after Brownlow year, the Brownlow medalist. And he doesn't really have a main scorer vibe to him just because he doesn't rack up. I think it's his non-disposal work that doesn't rack it up for him, and the handball happiness that he gets. Like last year, 2.6 marks, 5.4 tackles, that's 8. That's very roughly around the marker that you need to get to 100, and he just did in the regular season. 2.1 and 5.4 the year before that, 3.6 and 5. He doesn't really get to that 9-10 tackle mark combination to get really up there. So that, alongside his kick to handball ratio being really poor, really doesn't help him. And that's why one of the reasons why it's tough to start him. Sam Docherty, 76.3. He's going to be priced at because of the injuries. Let's just go through. Blake Acres not going to matter, I don't think, this year. George Hewitt is on the slow decline, I feel like. Chera back this year, I would feel like, but I just don't think he's going to be as valuable as Cooper Lord, no. Ollie Hollands, no. It's going to give us Jackson Binns, don't think so, even with his VFL form. Sam Docherty, he one game, 48. And if we look at his priced at point, he's going to be priced at 102.1 times by 0.73, which gets us at actually 71. 1 second here. Let me do some deep diving here. 1 second here. I might have his price slightly wrong because, you know, my thing isn't everything right. Regular season 104.5. There you go. So 104.5 times 0.73 equals 76.28, which times that by the magic number gets him at 782k. Yep, there you go. That's where I found it. Okay, 27% discount, as I said, on his price of 104.5 in 2023. The numbers you'll have on the document will be his price with the addition of finals, which he averaged 102 that year with the finals included. That is a drop of 26 points, give or take. That is interesting. 26 points upside. Interesting. Well, actually, on a technicality, it's actually about 28 points of upside. But that's interesting because is that enough upside? Is he going to return back to that? What's he actually going to do? He's done 110 in the past, you can see here, and a 116 in 2017. Does he return? He's been training with the midfield. What does he do? No buys for him early, which is a really good thing as well. I think he could be the mid-price that you go for as well in that midfield. Maybe you go for really cheap in that midfield and you go him at M4 and you go like an Isaac Cumming at M5. Could be interesting. I think he's a guy that definitely gets into that slot, that M4, M5 slot that will have 4 or 5, 6 other names. Jagga Smith, I think is the next guy here. We'll just skip through these guys. Yep, Jagga Smith. I'm not going to talk about the Camporelli brothers, even though they had the attributes to start early. I just don't see them starting, simply put, how good the Carlton side is. Much to the same with Sam Marshall. Like, these guys are a little bit below Sam Marshall, but still, the same sort of concepts apply. Jagga Smith, 32.6, priced at an average of, priced at 334k himself. He's just a guy that dominated the Coates Talent League. If we look at the Coates, we go down here. I'm hoping, please tell me the prices are right. I've slightly overdone him again, damn it. Man, I'm overdoing these guys and then 1 second here, 1 second. 10 games, 2024, 14.3. Something's been overdone here, just fractionally. 4 and 3.5. There we go. That's better. 10 games for a 104.9. If we go back to his quotes in that's his 2023 numbers actually. So I might actually be right in saying that. So I wasn't actually wrong. Maybe I was actually wrong with the likes of Harry Charlton. Actually, let me just look at that quickly here. Charlton. Let me actually just look at it. Yeah, I might be wrong with Harry Charlton's number. So I'll go back and double check that. 55 in 2023, 2024. Let me just check these just quickly here. I know I'm going slightly off track, but I just want to check these. 69.9, okay. So yeah, the Harry Charlton numbers were the ones that were wrong, but the Jagga Smith ones don't look like they were too far off. I think he did average 114, 113.1, so slightly off, I think. 13.1, 1 second here. I'm just updating my stats. 0.1, 17.3, 16.5. Yeah, so my stats were right. Wow, just look at these numbers. Look at these game logs here. He didn't go below a 90, he had a 63. He had a 63 outside of that. His lowest was 96. Absolute ball hog. If you actually remove that 63, he honestly becomes like a 120 something scorer or something dumb like that. Let's actually just do the quick maths here. 113.1 times by 12 is a 1357. 1357 minus 63 equals 1294. Divide that by 11. He goes up to a 117.6 in the Coach Talent League if you remove that one bad game. That's just dumb how good he is. With 5 120 plus scores and 3 140 plus scores. Yeah. I think he's that 75 to 80 guy even out of position, just with how much he's going to dominate. I don't know if he can necessarily play out of position as much as some of these other guys as well. So it'll be interesting to see how well he goes. But yeah, I just genuinely think he's one of the guys that will surprise a lot of people this year. And I think he's going to be up there with Sid Draper and also Ashcroft as one of the most fantasy relevant players for this season. I think he's one of those clear round one starters. And yeah, we'll just see how he goes. But yeah, he's definitely a guy that I am hugely on and one of the on-field rookies I'll probably have in the midfield. Ruck. We actually get to talk about a ruck in Tom De Koning. Camporellis, we said, weren't going to talk about them. Let's go. Tom De Koning, a guy that I'm very, very interested on. And then we have, only one more in the forward line. So, Tom De Koning, 87.8. Hopefully my stats are right, as they've been wrong so many times already, and we're only 3 teams in. So, hopefully they are right. Tom De Koning, 86.2 across the year, 87.8 in the regular season. And let's just look at this in terms of when he soloed. And I'm talking above 70%, above like 70 odd percent let's actually include this. When he goes plus 70% ruck time, he averages 98. And you can even go back to last year. Just quickly here. When he solos, if we look at it from the whole of last year included as well. Let me just bring up some more numbers here. When he solo rucks, from last year included as well, he goes 90.4 in 14 games. Let's just remove 2023 numbers. That goes up to 9 games, 98.3. That's his plus 12 on a ruckman. And if you actually look at Tom De Koning's stats in line with the breakout that Rowan Marshall had in his year 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, year 7, if not year 8. These two are online with each other. So I have a feeling he breaks out, and that breakout could be huge. That breakout could be huge. We are talking, if you remove this one, and you regulate it for 70% time on ground, that goes 8 games, 103. If you regulate that even more, that will probably actually bring it down. But yeah, you start to see that. You start to see this go up and up and up. If you regulate, that's probably actually going to bring it down a little bit. So yeah, he really starts to average in the high 90s, if not hundreds, if you start to go, he's full-time rocking. And I think that's what he does. So yeah, obviously Carlton fans can bring their best 23, put it in the comments, etc. Put in guys that I've probably not talked about, etc. that you probably would like to be added to the spreadsheet, etc. or the Google Doc. Put them in the comments below. But 87.8 he should be priced at, is it? Yeah, 87.8, which is 900k on the dot, I believe. Let me just double check that. 900k. I think he goes 100, which 100 is, yeah, what's that, plus 140k, so, give or take. I think he's genuinely up there, that he can do that. It'd be about 120, 130k that he could gain in value quite easily here. And I think he could be a number 2 or number 3 ruck in the comp. And to get that value out of him early could be really, really crucial, as I think he's a guy that with around 12, you could probably trade him, potentially, in and around the buys, etc., to a guy in the later buys. But we'll see. But I think he's a guy that you can start with and punt on. As, yeah, he had a 6-game run of... If we actually remove these early games, look at this 6-game run he had. Sorry, 5-game run. 5-game run here. A solo ruck, he averaged 113.4. Simply put, that's just amazing. That is just top echelon numbers. If we look at that, that's up here. That's above Max Gorn. That is up there with Cherry and Marshall numbers for 5-game run. Showing he has some promise. Let's keep going, and Pitnet's not going to matter, Hudson O'Keefe's not going to matter, Mackay's not going to matter. Elijah Hollands, interesting one. I just don't think he's going to matter too much because, and I do have him down here, 74.9, 768k. I just don't think he's going to matter too much because of the CBA rotation gets more stacked, so that's why I just wanted to run over him quickly, and I think we're actually going to get in decent time. Charlie Curnow, not going to matter, Zach Williams, not going to matter, Fogarty, Cottrell, Motlop, Fantasia, Durden, Moya, and then Savani, Lemmy, and Rob Monahan. All not going to matter in my personal opinion. Elijah might, but I don't think it's going to matter too much given the forward line. He may matter later on in the season if we see some upside, etc. Let me just show you why I sort of just flagged him for a second, but not too much. I don't think he's not going to matter too much. I know we do have Ollie Hollins from the midfield talking about down back, but price at like 70, not going to matter, I don't think. But this is why I sort of talk a little bit about him, is when he gets this sort of midfield time, like sort of, give or take, 83 average. So there is some meat on the bone there, I would say a little bit, but it's just hard to see him get too much midfield time, to be honest with you. So when he gets midfield time, it's just hard to see him get any meaningful midfield time, I would say. So, probably a miss, but a guy that I was just sort of flagging that could take the next step. But yeah, you probably want a role change out of him to have that, and I just don't see that happening with the Carlton midfield. But anyway, that is the video. They're going through Carlton. I did it in a little bit quicker time, so I saved myself a little bit. But if you did enjoy that run through on YouTube, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload. And those listening on Spotify, give me a follow and also a rating so that you know when I upload. And I'll see you guys at 12 p.m. tomorrow for the next preview, which will be of the Collingwood Footy Club. So I'll see you guys in that one. Bye, guys.